Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. So, you've heard about Star Citizen, some good, some bad. It's a space flight sim, and that might not interest you as a genre. But it's going to have a lot more going on than just dogfighting and space combat. There are a few guys here at Board Gamer who really just don't like space sims or flight sims. It's just not their thing. It's not a genre that appeals to them at all. They are much more into first-person shooters like Counter-Strike or Natural Selection 2, if they wanted a space shooter. Survival games like Rust, maybe a little bit of Grand Theft Auto Online now. Today we're going to talk about other aspects of the game that you can get involved with if you don't want to fly a spaceship. Is it a game that you could play if you don't want to fly a spaceship or you don't want combat? The first-person shooter module, Star Marine for Star Citizen, will really show us if CIG are on the right track with the way they deal with this kind of genre of game. And it is effectively their own genre of MMO. I've used the word genre far too much now. But it's going to bring a load of different gamers from a load of different areas and walks of gameplay and life all together. Now, they might not mesh too well. Star Citizen is going to be seamless in its FPS module with space and wider combat eventually in the persistent universe. There will be situations where people will board your ship and club you to death from behind while you're in the pirate's chair with just a pipe. You shouldn't have left that spare pipe on your ship. But the FPS module, once it's released, will effectively be its own game mode. It will just be the first-person shooter running about and shooting each other. There won't be spaceships involved with that. It will be its own arcade game mode, effectively. But in the wider game, this means there will be jobs for people who solely wish to participate in first-person shooter combat. As a marine or boarding crew, assaulting and defending ships, stations and planets on the ground. You will need to hitch a ride if you do this kind of job, though, with a player or an NPC, though, to get to where you want to get to. Space travel is involved in a lot of jobs, but you don't necessarily need to fly yourself, and you don't necessarily need to fly with a player. You can go for Npc Transport. There'll be probably some forms of quick transport as well. As a bodyguard or a security crew personnel, you'll need to be involved with close personal protection. Systems on ships will need to be protected on ships and stations and that sort of stuff. Gravity generators, weapon systems will need to be operated and guarded from boarders. You could also go into stuff like being a medic. Medics will be needed on the ground to heal people as part of boredom parties, as part of repelling parties, when you're assaulting space stations. People requiring damaged limbs repaired, saving someone's life, jamming them full of like combat meds, that sort of stuff. That's the sort of stuff that medics will do. As well as also having to defend themselves in combat. They're going to be running around with a shotgun, a pistol or a rifle or something too. Now, I'm very much looking forward to the combination of everything as a whole, but there are players who solely want to focus on the FPS stuff. And I think it's greater that the game can cater for that wider group dynamic. I'm a relatively social gamer, but getting games that everyone wants to play together when there are 6 or more of you on chatting on Skype or Mumble or whatever is really hard. It's really hard to get a game that everyone wants to play. There'll always be someone that doesn't want to play or is busy playing a different game like Eve or something. Now, that's because people don't feel like playing that particular game or that style of game at that time. The FPS module and the nature of Star Citizen is that it can cater for a lot more of people's different niches simultaneously, and that's what I want from the project. That's what I want from the game. Cross-genre play. A living, breathing universe that caters for a wide range of gamers. If you'd like to know more about the FPS module Star Marine, please check out the description below. I'll link all the latest videos and information I know about that, and it will be coming out soon TM. So, what if I'm not a fan of first-person shooters, or I don't want to fly at all? There are loads of other roles that are needed that can be filled by players as crew on a ship. I mean, as I said earlier, doctors and medics, there's likely to be mini games involved with being a doctor and medic as well, but you're going to be needed in lots of different situations, on large ships, on small ships, as part of boarding parties, repelling parties, that sort of stuff. There's also likely to be specific jobs for those people wanting to be doctors, where they will need to get to planets to like stop outbreaks and things like that. Gunners. Turrets on ships can use NPCs or human crew, players, and players are likely to be better at firing large manned guns. So big ships like Idris's, are going to need people to crew those guns. And you could be part of that if you want to be. Engineers. Ships will require operation of some sorts, repairing. Some systems will have mini games, and the more involved with that, the better you are at those mini games, the better you are at understanding how your ship works, how to repair it quicker, operating those systems, the better that ship's going to be, or have the potential to be in the verse. There's going to be loads of different industry roles as well. Lots of ships will have specialised systems that require attention and TLC. The Orion, for example, has an array of mining equipment that all require active intelligent use. Players crewing these over NPCs can be more efficient, or have the potential to be more efficient. They're also able to specialise more in exactly what they're after during that. I mean, again, that's efficiency, really. I mean, there's even cabin crew. If you want to transport and work with people, then you could take a job on someone's like Genesis Starliner as a member of the cabin crew. People on these Starliners have wants and needs based on what seating they've got. So if they've got first class seats, they're going to need a lot of attention compared to someone that's in cattle class, all chucked in the prison, tiny pods all together. And cabin crew are going to be important for making those people happy and then generating more money overall for that Starliner. So people are going to want competent crew that are focused on their jobs, and NPCs, although they're going to be probably semi-effective at it, aren't going to be as effective as a person would be. You're going to have radar and E-war operators as well. E-war is likely to be quite a big part of the game, masking signals, creating signals, tracking people down. Skilled players will be needed on big ships like Idris's to run those systems. There's also going to be like loads of other jobs for like planetary exploration. Exploration is going to be a massive thing in Star Citizen. There's going to be people that needed to pilot down those nodes, but also there's going to be loads of different wants and needs to explore individual planets and systems. Only one or two pilots will probably be essential or necessary in a crew, but there's going to be scientists needed, security, even artists, I suppose. Yeah, artists, why not? I'd buy art by players that's drawn vistas from planets they've explored or newly discovered. I think that'd be cool. And those are just a few positions or roles on a ship. Some are entirely non-combat. And they were talking about the ability to jump in and out of NPCs if you have a friend's ship that allows you online at a time. So I could go to my mate Dave, I could log on after work and I'd go, oh, he's online and he's got a gunner that I can take control of. I think that's great. It's going to be nice and chilled out for some people that want to just do some exploring together. They've got their mains somewhere else and they just want to explore with another crew, and they can just teleport into that guy. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work yet. I don't think CIG know either. So what else is there? Is there career paths, people that just want to make credits in-game and want to avoid combat wherever possible? Well, yes. You can run your own business or ship. You can do trade and smuggling, literally go for safer routes, trade goods between planets, or in a convoy if you want to avoid combat. Just be making a little bit of money. There is always risk-reward to not going into combat, and more dangerous situations are likely to have more risk, but more reward. Mining again, for example. You could just run your own little mining vessel. There will be safer mining areas and asteroid fields in the verse, but again, the more dangerous ones, or the ones that are not meant too many people know about, that are harder to get to, are likely to give you more reward. Rescue. You can run a medicine or rescue and refueling company if you wanted to. You can make a living from literally going around detecting people's ejection signals, going and rescuing those people that are stranded out in the verse, people that have just got their distress signals on because they've run out of fuel, picking up their escape pods, healing them, whatever. Insurance companies will love you. Research. I have no idea how research and manufacturing is going to work in the game, but I know it will exist. And it's going to be likely a way of avoiding combat if you want to, although I'm sure there's going to be fringe researchers and fringe scientists that are very much in combat a lot of the time. But they're selling that Endeavour research platform, so I expect we'll find out a lot more about research and manufacturing very soon. You could be an information broker. You could make a living selling locations of asteroid fields or enemy bases, jump points, or even smuggling info and classified data between different planets. There will be lots of roles and careers in the verse, and many that just aren't really definable. You can be whatever you want to be and make credits, UEC, in so many ways. That's only really defined by how industrious as a player you are, how much time you've got to dedicate onto the whatever you're trying to do, and are there other players involved that damage your bottom line or help aid your bottom line. And with that in mind, finding an organisation that suits your playstyle is important. There are so many organisations, player-run organisations, to choose from and join at the moment. Even players that want to be lone wolves in the verse should consider joining an org, because it's nice to have a code and a club and a way to share information with other like-minded players. So you could literally find an organisation that is for lone wolves if you wanted. So whether you want to crew a railgun on an Idris M, be a flight attendant, or on a Starliner, or a sniper in a team of Marines on the ground, there is a career for you and organisations to support you. Anyway, guys, I hope that helps and gives you some food for thought. Star Citizen isn't just about combat and spaceships. There's going to be lots of beautiful exploration, crewing, multiplayer experiences to be had. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the verse.